Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers. This is Andy 235, and this is Module 15. Congratulations, this is our last module of the entire semester, and we're putting everything together. You've got your character textured. Now we're going to go in and properly light your character in a more realistic way. We're going to be using HDR imaging. So you're going to have to find a background HDR image map for that. And then I take you through the whole process of lighting your character and getting the proper lighting levels. And then again, of course, your results will be a little different. So please feel free to turn the intensity and the exposure up of your lights for your lighting, and make sure that you can see your character. Alright, so the idea here is we're just going to finish things up. It should be a pretty short module for you guys. Shouldn't take much longer than a couple hours to complete. The only thing that you may spend more time on is making sure that you have a pedestal. I do want to see something the character is standing on. So we need some sort of a pedestal. So please create a pedestal for that. Again, Module 15. We're on our final output in this module. The student will light the character using a 3-point light system, create a sky dome light, and add an HDR image using the sky dome light for accurate light reflections on metal and chrome materials. I know before you guys were kind of complaining about that your metals did not look like metals. That's because you did not have a background image to reflect. So metals need to have something to reflect, so they usually don't turn out very nice, or they don't look very good. Well, they don't definitely look as good as the renderings or the screenshots that you see in Substance Painter. So we're going to be using Arnold, and you can use something else if you'd like to, whether it be V-Ray. But try to stick to something that's a professional renderer. I will not accept Marmoset, or I will not accept Substance Painter iRay. So just those two, Arnold or V-Ray. The student will pose the character in a dynamic pose that fits and complements the character. And that's one of the big things we're going to be talking today about in the lecture. And you guys can look at some of these images. So you're going to be modeling and texturing a round pedestal, and you can be as simple as what I did. So you guys can think simple, or you guys can do whatever you think complements your character. And then we're going to render several different angles of the character and create a turntable play blast animation. Now we are going to add extra credit. Now the reason why it is extra credit is because it takes a long time to render, especially more realistic scenes and realistic reflections and shadows. So you could be seeing probably maybe 5 to 10 minutes per frame, and you may not even have time to do the extra credit, okay? Because you'd have to probably start that a couple days before you need to turn it in and let it render all day and all night to get the 300 frames that you need. And you need to also need to have Premiere Pro to put it together, okay? So some of you may not be comfortable doing that, and that's why I did extra credit for that instead of making it required. We used to require it when we were in school, but now, you know, with the pandemic and everything else going on, some of us just don't have time, or we just don't have the computers that can handle rendering. But if you can handle it, and if you want to try it and get the 10 points extra credit, feel free to do that. It'd be fun to see it. Alright, course assignment again is kind of what we just talked about. You guys can read this. You're going to be rendering 5. Now we're going to kind of do what's called a character turnaround sheet, okay? And let me show you that at the very end, what that looks like, okay? Let's go ahead and go down to the bottom and see if there it is. So this is the character turntable sheet, And so what you'll be doing is you'll be setting up the camera so you get a 3/4 front from the right side. I believe that's the right side. And then you go to the other side 3/4. Okay, so the right side, then the left side, and then from the front, directly in the front of the character. Now make sure you're doing this in perspective view, because I don't want orthographic, would make it look kind of funny. So just get straight on with the character from the front, and then from the side, and then from the back. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we need to turn in, and that's what I have up here. Okay, so 5. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing. And you can do one of two things. You can, I really highly recommend that you just put it in one piece, right? Okay, and this will be a JPEG. Okay, so what I did was I did a 4,000 pixel by 2,000 pixels, a resolution of 72, and then what you do is you just bring them into Photoshop or something comparable to Photoshop, and just start laying your images in and getting them all together, and cropping and doing what you need to do to get them to fit. Okay, then at the bottom I just want you to put down your name and the character. What's the character name? Okay, and if you don't have a character name, you can just put down 3D model, and you can just kind of follow what this person has done. Keep it nice and elegant and easy to read. So and basically you have a nice portfolio piece. Okay, all right. So that's the turntable sheet, and that's what you need to turn in. Now, you have the other choice you have if you run out of time, or if you can't turn in a turntable sheet. I will not take off, but you will have to have these 5 images separately for me. Okay, all 5 images separate will need to be rendered out, and I need to have those. I have to have renders. Okay. And you don't have to give me 5 separate ones if you give me a character turntable sheet, which is this. Okay? Alright, so that's why I put that down here. I really want you guys to do this. That way you can put your completed model and show it off. Okay. So that's your deliverable on your final piece. Alright? Let's go ahead and go back up again and work our way down. So that's what we're going to be doing, and that's what you're going to be turning in. So you can see that my turntable is, I modeled it. I didn't spend a whole lot of time modeling, but I put some thought into the modeling, and then I just added a very simplistic texture. Okay, I did not want to take away from the character, and sometimes I've seen platforms that are a little overly done, a little overly detailed, and can actually take away from the character itself. So we're really focusing on the character. Okay. All right. All right. So, and then there are people that tend to love to do bright colors. Again, you want to make sure that your character contrasts the environment that the object's in. And I could have probably went with a different color, because what was happening is I'm not getting enough contrast between the background and my pedestal. And so now I look more, when I reflect on this, I'll probably go back in there and do a different color. A color that will help pop the base out a little bit more. Right now the base kind of blends in. Okay. Alright, so with that said, we go into our lesson content lecture, which is all about balance and posing. So I'd like you guys to make sure you take time and go through all this. It talks about balance, and then we talk about the line of action, which they all work together. Weight shifting, how we shift our weight in our bodies, and how our bodies look when we do that. Okay, so make sure you check it all out, and my lecture, and look at all the images. Okay. All right, so I will go through this though when we look at this. Some tips for posing. Okay, things that you don't want to do. You don't want to do anything unless it's for a purpose. Well, you have a purpose. You need to, pose your character. So that's our purpose. The question is, how do you want to pose the character to bring out the personality of the character? Okay, does the pose fit? Now, if normally, this is probably a bad example here, but normally if a person is doing yoga, now this person is doing yoga outside, which is great, which is fine. So she's not going to have the usual athletic attire that you see. So what you want to look at is look at your character, and the pose that you choose depends on what you want people to perceive your character as. Okay, so the character has some, and you need to have kind of think about a backstory for your character, and that will help with your posing. Okay, so you have to have a purpose. Okay, don't pose anything without knowing why. Well, we all know that we have to have this done. It's required, so that's why we're doing it. Also, you want to add emotion. Just having the character in a T-pose isn't going to be interesting to the audience, so you're trying to sell yourself and the character that you've created to get jobs. Okay? Alright, so most of the time when we talk about poses, people think we're creating animation and we want to do the key poses, right? With this instance, we're just posing the character, and we're trying to put our best foot forward and really think about it. Just don't throw something on the character. Just don't do it willy-nilly. Really think about your character, what your character is, who are they, and what's their background, and what's their personality like. You have to think about all those things before you start posing your character. Okay, and it's okay to go out and research. That's the whole idea about online learning, is that a lot of times you'll have to go and even face to face. I want you guys to go out there. You're not going to learn every single thing face to face. You'll learn a lot, but the idea is for you guys to go out and research, and that's how we really learn. We learn from looking at other people's work. Okay. And do you have a picture in your head of what you're trying to achieve? Okay, we talked about that. Alright, so you also want to not only do the pose, but you also want to give expression to the face. That's why we did blend shapes. So if you lost your blend shapes and you're kind of messed up here because you can't really do anything, but you could add something to the eyes, maybe looking at the camera or not looking at the camera. Depends on what you're trying to go for. But hopefully that's why we did those expressions. So now you can add an expression to your character. That's appropriate, of course. Okay. Alright, balance. You do want to balance relation of one part of the character's pose to another. Now this is talking about animation, obviously, from one pose to another. Alright, expression to the face. This gives personality. Okay. Now again, you don't have to exaggerate with the pose when you're just posing. Now we usually say when you're in animation you want to kind of go over the top with it. But with this, we're just showing one single image, so sometimes less is sometimes better. Alright, and make sure you use a camera effectively. Okay, and then in here we talk about silhouettes and line of action. Most of you know all this, but some of you that may not have been exposed to this yet is really important to posing. And then we take you through some, not all of us have superheroes that we modeled, or we have superheroes, but some of us may have. But a lot of us think of that as dynamic poses. This is dynamic. Okay, this is dynamic in a subtle way. Okay, you get to see not only the beauty of the model and the textures on it, but how the character has been posed. Okay, and the expressions on the face. Okay, and the hand gestures. These all play a role in your posing. Okay, so make sure you look at these images. Some of these you're like, well, so what's so special about it? Well, it's actually showing the character personality. They're very well done. If you can do that, if you can show character personality with body language and facial expressions, then you got it. You figured it out. So I just showed some examples of nice, well done expressions and well done posing, and you can see that some of these are just absolutely fantastic. Very well done. I love this one. This one's fantastic. Look at the attitude on here. This is great. So check these out. This is a good one too. I really like this one. Alright, so I have the tutorials. We go right to HDR Haven, I think it is, in this video, showing you where to go to get your HDR images that will give you some nice reflections that you're not seeing in your metal, and you need to have that. So make sure you pick one. I would highly recommend you pick an indoor scene. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying indoor scenes tend to light a little bit nicer, but you can pick whatever one you'd like. Just don't overblow. Don't blow out your scene with too much light. So just be careful with that. And then you can watch those videos on how to get everything all set up. I got about, I think there's 5 of them there. Okay. And then when you're completely finished, then you're going to turn in, you're going to be graded by your pose, okay, your model and texture, how you textured your round pedestal. Again, you know, I'm not going to be too crazy about this, you know, as long as I see that there's a pedestal, I'm good to go. If you guys can put some kind of texture on it, that would be great, something that works with the character, okay. And was the character, did you take time? I can tell if you guys have taken time. I look at these poses here, and these are really well done. You can tell the person has really taken the time to really think about the posing and to give that character expression, and you can see the personality of that character. And that means a lot. It can be subtle. It can be subtle facial expressions, or it can be straight up crazy. You know, depends on how you want to show off your character and what the character's personality. But they have to match. The personality has to match with the character. Alright, so keep that in mind. As far as the dynamic posing, again, it can be subtle. I'm okay with that, but I can always tell when somebody just throws something together really quickly, as fast as they possibly can, and to get it done as fast. You're not helping yourself, because this should be a portfolio piece for you guys. I know some of you weren't exactly happy with the results that you ended up with, but you know what? It's good to put 110% into everything you do, and even though you're not 100% happy with it, I think if you get the lighting down and you get a good pose, that some of the most simple characters really come to life, and you really just have to put some time into it. I really want to see, I mean, I will take the 5 separate renders, okay, but I really want to see you take it to the next level and put it into more of a character turntable sheet. I have it down here, okay. Again, I won't take points off at all. I just need to make sure either you have the 5 separate renders, you have to turn those in, or you turn this in, okay? And then, of course, you have to have a 600 frame play blast animation of it rotating, okay? Now, you can either rotate the camera around the character, or you can just select the base and the character, okay? And you can parent, okay, parent the character. Now, what I would suggest that you do is, since you have your main controller, is that you select the base, shift select the controller, and then hit parent, and hopefully that'll let you do that. And then when you select the controller, you can rotate the whole entire thing and animate that. Or if that doesn't work, you can create a locator, okay? So you can create a locator, and then you can take your camera, move it back, get it positioned where you want it, and you can go ahead and parent the camera to the locator, and then animate the camera, or animate the locator going around in 360 degrees. So at frame 0, it's set up. You keyframe it, and then at frame 359, you'll rotate it all the way around to 359 degrees, and then hit S for set keyframe on frame 300. So then when you play the animation, it'll just spin around. It's very simple. If you guys have any issues or problems with that, you just email me, let me know at jbyers3@jcc.edu. But that's basically it. Congratulations, you're completely finished. There is a really cool video I want you to watch that's really, really awesome, and it was really well done. And hopefully the next time that you create a character, that you'll be able to go ahead and create a awesome 300 frame animation. And hopefully we can do this when you guys get back to school face to face. I'm kind of excited to kind of revisit this and maybe spend some time with you guys and figure out a way we can get that rendered overnight or something at school. We have some powerful computers at school, but anyway, have a great day. And remember, Module 15 cannot be turned in late. You shouldn't be turning this in late. It's so easy to do. It's not that hard. Spend a couple hours, pose it. You got everything else done. Create a pedestal, and you're good to go. You're ready to rock and roll. Watch those videos, get the lighting perfect, and get it exactly the way you want it, and turn in some great renders. All right, guys. I'll see you with final exam. To give you kind of a little, let you know what's going to happen with that, is you're going to have to model a small portion of the face. Okay, you don't know what that is. Don't even try to figure that out. It'll be fairly simple. You're going to do a small portion of the face, and I'm going to give you references for that. So it's modeling and texturing and rendering. Okay, it takes, normally face-to-face in classes, it takes just about 2.5 hours to do, and we have 3 hours. And it's always everybody in class. The last 7 years I've been giving this final exam for this particular class, everybody's been able to finish it, okay, in 3 hours. And so you guys have 4 days to complete it. 4 days. So what I would suggest that you do, some of you are worried, that I would start right away on Monday, on finals week. Everything's set up. You can open it right up, and if you have any questions, that's a good time to let me know. You cannot turn in, again, you cannot turn in Module 15 late, and you cannot turn in final exam late. You should not be doing that. You should have plenty of time to finish the final exam and plenty of time to finish this one. I made it easy. You guys worked your butt off rigging it, and this week I wanted to make it very light and very easy and very fun, so you guys will have fun lighting and getting your character posed and just having fun with your character now. And I know you'll do the best you can, and I wish you guys the best, and I'll see you guys for final exam. And if you have any questions, you just let me know, and I'll be happy to answer those. Anyway, I've had a great semester with you guys, and I hope you've had some fun and learned a lot. Anyway, have a great one. I will hopefully see you guys face to face sometime. It looks like we got to do the online thing one more semester, and hopefully we can get back to face classes, which I'm really going to be excited about, and I know you guys will be too. Back at Johnson County Community College, we got a brand new classroom that we just remodeled, so everybody's kind of excited about that. If you haven't heard the buzz, that's the buzz, and RC311. And brand new computers, man, they are really fast. So I hope to see you guys on online next semester, and it'll be fun. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.